and welcome to the November 16th, 2020 City Council meeting. We'll begin with an invocation offered by Pastor Daniel Finley from the First Baptist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please join me?
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Father, we come to you and thank you for, Lord, carrying us this far. Here we are back, our first time attempting to do an in-person meeting with the hybrid style with some watching online. And Lord, I pray that you'll keep us safe and allow us to do this well. You've carried us through much already, but we do pray for, even as of today, just in our zip code alone, about over 350 people that have tested positive for this virus. Lord, some that tragically have passed away. We thank you, though, that many have recovered and some that are still fighting very hard right now, where we pray that you'd give them your grace, your favor to heal and recuperate through this. Lord, you'd bless this meeting. Continue to grant your wisdom, your favor on this town. Lord, that we would lead, we would guide well, handle the responsibilities you've given this committee. Lord, I pray that you would give them your wisdom to handle the business tonight. And Lord, allow the technology to work well. We pray you'll just allow that to be smooth and a great experience for those that aren't able to be here in person. Lord, we thank you, and we ask this all in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Finley. City Manager Rakowski, would you like to call roll?
Mayor Lake.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hart.
Here.
Councilman Brown.
Here.
Councilman Peoples.
Here.
Councilwoman Kelly.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
It's not on the agenda, but, oh, I'm sorry, it's later on. Skipped it. Is there a motion to read by short title, the emergency order to extend the local state of emergency based on the CARES Act?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Mr. Commando.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Resolution 2020-02, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Keystone Heights, Florida, declaring a local state of emergency, adopting Executive Order 20-51, issued by the Governor of Florida, providing direction to the clerk and providing an effective date.
Are there any questions of the city attorney? Any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to pass?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Are there any public comment cards, Ms. Rakowski?
Madam Mayor, I do have one. Ms. Sue Plaster.
Excellent. Ms. Plaster, would you like to come up to the microphone? Yes. And just state your address for the record, please, your name and address.
85 Southeast Forest Street, Keystone Heights.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good. Well, that is Sue Plaster. Represent CB Isaac Realty, and I'm actually representing Christy Overton Johnson, who owns the buildings behind BBVA, the chapel, and the fellowship hall, and the house. It's all one street, and it's all one sale when I sold it to her. And it's a package, it all kind of comes together. And we realized that you wanted the parking lot there. And the parking lot, I've got, the lowest bid is $4,000 to take the house down and $16,000 to do the plans and actually put it into a parking lot. That's $20,000. Well, our problem is, I'll have a hard time raising the money to begin with, but I think I can get it done. But I can't spend $20,000 and then not know whether or not I'm going to be able to get an occupancy permit. I was just wondering if there's any way I could get a contingency occupancy if we get the parking lot done. And if that's not, as a representative, and you still have a problem with senior champions coming in, And I talked to you last time about that, so I won't go over that again. But it's much nicer to look at you all than looking at my wall while I was talking to you last time. That was a little bit difficult. But, you know, is there, you need to give me an idea of some other kind of business that you would like in there. And I do have this information this week, as Christy says God has told her to get the roof on that chapel. And so she says, I'm doing it right away. So I've given her the bids that we have on it and the lowest bid, and she's talked to them, so it should be a new roof on there very shortly. So that much is getting done. So she's doing that. But she's not, you know, tearing down the thing and making the parking lot as part of the deal of selling it. But that's my problem, is I just can't spend $20,000 and then have you say, no, we don't want you in there. You know, I don't want these people in there. So I just don't know what to do. It's not very often I don't know what I want to do, but that one's got me. Now, the other thing I came for, I know y'all tired of hearing me talk about this lake and everything. I'm so happy about the buildings looking great. But they're not swimming in there. And this is November. We need to start getting ready, so figure a way to get them swimming. And if you have to test the waters, and there's a costly thing, being on the board of Save Our Lakes, I'm aware of the fact we've got money for the lakes, and it doesn't have to per se be Save Our Lakes. That I'm not doing this on their behalf. This is just me talking. But we can spend some money and take water tests and find out up and down what is making this to where it's not doesn't pass the inspection. And I know it's getting plenty of good water coming in. That's my lake down there just beyond it that's providing all the water in this lake other than what God gives us by rain. So, and we've got good water, I'm almost sure, but I'll be welcome you to come test our water, because that's the water that's pouring in. But, you know, we just got to get that up there and ready for the kids. Got a nice building there, tables look good, everything's great. And then to tell those kids they can't go swimming, they can't even wade, we need to get to work on it. And I think we can use that money. I don't know why we can't. It just doesn't, it's for the lakes. Doesn't say specifically that it has to be something that Save Our Lake says to do. So I don't know why it wouldn't be
Ms. Sue, we thank you
money
for
that
coming.
you could use.
We thank you for coming down here, and we appreciate your concern about the lakes and your property that you're trying to fix. We normally don't do a back and forth dialogue during public comment, but I would suggest you talk with Ms. Lynn about the business aspect of the property that you're trying to get a CO for. And I wanted you to know that from our perspective, Ms. Rakowski and I are working on some water projects that will maybe help some things. So
Okay.
I appreciate your comments. I'm glad you
Okay.
came down.
Well, we can do that.
Okay. Resolutions. The first is a proclamation for the city election 2021. Whereas the term of office for Council Seat 3 and Seat 5 will expire on April 13th, 2021, and an election is required to be held to fill these seats. And whereas Section 14 of the City Charter of Keystone Heights, Florida, and Section 3-77 of the Code of Ordinances of Keystone Heights, Florida, require the mayor to issue a proclamation containing information regarding the election. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the mayor of the City Council of the City of Keystone Heights, Florida, that 1, there shall be a municipal election to elect a council member for Council Seat 3 and Seat 5 of the City Council of the City of Keystone Heights, Florida, on April 13th, 2021. The term of the council seat and Seat 3 and Seat 5 are 3 years. The polls shall open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Keystone Heights City Hall. 2, qualifying for seat 3 and seat 5 shall begin at noon on February 1, 2021, and shall end at noon on February 5th, 2021. This proclamation was approved by the mayor on this day, 16th day of November. Is there a motion to pass?
I'll make a motion to pass.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. And then we have a second proclamation this evening, and I'm so glad that we have the technology. I know we're trying a new engine under the hood tonight, and so we welcome former County Commissioner Gavin Rollins. Are you with us?
Mr. Rollins, can you please unmute?
Whoops, sorry about that. I am with you guys and been listening. I almost seconded a few of the motions just out of habit, being, but I'm up in Washington, D.C. I've been called up for active duty with the National Guard, so I will be on full-time active duty orders with the National Guard for a year up here in Washington, D.C. But it's good to hear that things are moving forward in Keystone. Obviously, that I'm glad to see the church getting a new roof right down the road from my house. So I'll be renting that house out for a year and then be returning after that. So it's an honor to be able to call in virtually, and looking forward to continuing to serve in a different capacity for a while, but Keystone will always be home. So.
Well, thank you. And we have a proclamation for you this evening, Commissioner Rollins. And so I'd like to read it at this time. Whereas Gavin Rollins and his family are lifelong Lake Region residents who are deeply invested in the spiritual well-being of campers at Swan Lake Camp. And whereas Gavin Rollins previously served 2 terms as a councilman of the City of Keystone Heights City Council while a resident of the city. And whereas after his time on council, Gavin Rollins ran for and won election representing District 4 on the Clay County Board of County Commissioners, serving 2 terms, including a year as chairman. And whereas Mr. Rollins has the noble distinction of being elected the youngest commissioner in the state of Florida. And whereas Gavin Rollins is a proud member of the Florida National Guard, where his experiences in service are wide and varied. And whereas Mr. Rollins is a graduate of Keystone Heights High School and the University of Florida, go Gators. And whereas the City of Keystone Heights and its residents are very appreciative of Mr. Rollins' service to community through our City Council and our County Commission in years of service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Keystone Heights and on behalf of the City Council, I, Karen Lake, hereby proclaim Monday, November 16, 2020, as Gavin Rollins Day. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. And I've personally extended my thanks to you, Mr. Rollins, but I want to give people on the dais an opportunity to speak. Is there anybody who would like to speak with Mr. Rollins at this time?
Gavin, this is Larry Peoples. I just wanted to say you're a very, very principled young man, and I appreciate everything you've done for this city and for this county, and I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Likewise, and thank you. It's been an honor to work with you on a number of issues, and the road naming issue is still moving forward, is my understanding. You're working with the county on that?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, and I know Betsy's aware of it and will continue to fight for it, so.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to say hello to Mr. Rollins?
Gavin, this is Tony. I just want to thank you for your service of city, county, state, and our country. And Godspeed to you.
Thank you, and it's been an honor, obviously serving with you and alongside you in different capacities, and I'm still in Keystone, it's still home and always will be, so it's an honor this is really is a huge honor, and greatly appreciate it, Madam Mayor.
You're certainly welcome. Anyone else like to speak to Mr. Rollins?
Gavin, I'm sorry for the oversight in the proclamation. We didn't mention that you were a loyal Kiwanian for several years.
Oh,
Yes, sir. And
he didn't put it in his bio.
I need to get back involved is why I felt bad putting it in there because I've been lax to my membership.
I'll mail you an app.
Ms. Kelly, anything?
Thank you very much, Gavin, for all you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, we appreciate again your willingness to link up with us digitally, and Godspeed to you.
Thank you. And can I just, one other plug, your new city manager is doing a great job. She hit the ground running, and if it were not for her, the Keystone, and obviously the council and Madam Mayor, you worked hard on this too, but she was very flexible with working with the county to make sure that we got that funding that's going to help upgrade Keystone Beach, which is going to provide great service to our communities. I just want to give her a shout out for her dedication and focus on helping make that happen, and to all of you working together to make that happen. It's, I think, a big win for our community.
All right, well, thank you so much. We appreciate you
Thank
coming
you,
on.
man. Appreciate it.
That was fun. It worked, Mr. Burkowski.
Love it when a plan comes together.
Right. And you have some backup IT people over there. Okay, so Resolution C. Resolution 2020-11, Veterans Honor Highway, Walker Road, State Road 100 road designation. And we have a resolution. Is there a motion to read it by short title?
I so moved.
And there is our second.
Second.
Excellent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Mr. Commando.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Resolution 2020-11, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Keystone Heights, Florida, supporting the honorary designation of a portion of State Road 100 within the city limits of Keystone Heights, Florida, as Veterans Honor Highway, recognizing the Florida Department of Transportation as the agency responsible for the design, erection, and maintenance of the associated honorary designation markers, providing for severability and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the resolution of the author, Mr. Commando? Seeing none, Mr. Peoples, this has been your item you brought to us. Would you like to carry it forward until we vote on it?
Yes, I'd like, if I could get Commander John Lee from the Suns to come up to the podium and
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is John Lee, I'm Commander of the Suns, the American Legion, Keystone Heights, and I'd just like to say this is a very good thing for the community. It will honor all our veterans, past, future, and present, and I think it's an excellent thing, and I'm behind it 100%. I'm sure that my post and my squadron are behind it 100% too, and thank you for doing it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Peoples, on that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Seeing none, is there a
I apologize. I do have one point of information on this. This will be moving forward, if it's passed tonight, to the county commission at their meeting on the 24th.
Okay. Recognizing that it has another step.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. Is there a motion to pass?
Go ahead. I'll make a motion to pass.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Peoples.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can't wait to see the sign. All right, we're moving into the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from October's meeting, the financials from September, and the payables from September. Is there a motion to pass?
I'll make a
move the
motion.
consent agenda.
I second.
Excellent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Ms. Rakowski, we are on the CARES update.
Yes, Madam Mayor, in your packet, you'll see a year-to-date from last fiscal year as well as a year-to-date for this current fiscal year of what we have paid through the CARES Act. We're about $60,000 shy of our 266 mark, so that's exciting news as we're closing that out. Any questions regarding the payables before I go ahead and move forward?
Just one comment. I don't think I've ever signed a check for $166,000 before. It was fun.
I understand. All right. In your packet, we also have the amended agreement between the city of Keystone Heights and the county. I went ahead and signed that. That is allowing the original $250,000 to be increased to $266,000. We talked about the last council meeting. And then this also extends our date for our final invoice to December 18th. So we will have all of our checks paid by the beginning of that week so that we can go ahead and close that out with the county.
Do you need a motion on that, Ms. Bukowski?
No, ma'am, that's already been executed, just
Okay.
consensus.
That's scary. Yes,
And this is why we have IT here.
So are you on project update C?
I am. Are we back on?
We are bringing it back up one at a time. You guys can go ahead and continue that.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, project updates. I'll start with the pavilion. We are scheduled to complete and have our certificate of occupancy by the end of the year. We'll have final payout by December 18th so that we can go ahead and submit that. We do have a generator that's going to be on back order that'll be installed the last week of December. If you would like to go down and take a quick peek of that, please feel free to come into the office. I'll take you down there and we'll do a quick tour. Things are rocking along just fine at that. The next project that we worked on was the Wi-Fi. We do have Wi-Fi installed in our parks, well, 2 of our parks. We cannot do it at the beach yet, but we are live here at the theme park and across the street at the Natural Park. We are also live at Sunrise Park. The hours of operation are from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., and that can be changed as we see fit. We are working on a landing page right now. I'll be working with the city attorney on some language for that, and then we'll go ahead and move forward probably in a budget and finance meeting on how we would like to charge for advertising as we continue on that venture. So I'm pretty excited about that. The filters are set in place for any websites that may not have content that we would like to have on our public Wi-Fi.
Very cool.
Thank you.
The picnic tables for distance learning and remote access or working from home will be installed next week. We'll take delivery on those on Wednesday. Public Works is working hard to dig the trenches so that we can make those hot. We can have electricity to those picnic tables. We will have 5 down at the beach, and we'll have a couple throughout the theme park as well as the Natural Park. So they'll be able to bring their laptops, plug in, and then utilize our Wi-Fi. Our touchless restrooms here at City Hall and down at Public Works as well as the cemetery are almost done. We're waiting on faucets to be installed. Those should be in stock at the end of this month, so we'll be seeing completion on that. We have contracted with a company, a leading edge, I believe, Polar Controller. They have a system that hooks up through our HVAC system to allow at night the building to be disinfected, and also monitors our air quality, and it's capable of adjusting as needed. So it's a pretty fascinating piece of equipment that we do have installed here and at the Public Works building, and it will be installed down at the pavilion once that gets completed.
Excellent.
There's a lot of technical things that come into play with that, so if you're interested in learning more, come see me and we'll sit down. It's about a 2-hour conversation.
I have one question. Will these bathrooms be open 24 hours a day, or will they be locked, or what? These bathrooms back here?
No, they will not be open 24
Okay.
hours. We will be installing an antibacterial film or cover on all of our handles. That'll be happening over the next 2 weeks. This is something that we have piggybacked with the county. They have installed it on all of their door handles as well. This allows for viruses not to stick to the surfaces, and it's proven to be 99% effective. We're also working with the airport to have that installed in some strategic locations at their FBO. And that's about it for an update on our large projects. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Your generator, is it gonna be fenced off like this one so kids can't crawl up on top of it and everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, and so we're at item D, the temporary transfer CIP to general fund for the CARES Act, $200,000.
Yes, so we're spending money quicker than what is coming back in from the county, and we anticipated this to happen. So this is a conversation that we had at the beginning. We have about $315,000 in our CIP, our infrastructure fund. I would like to do a temporary transfer of $200,000 into our general fund so that we can cover the remainder of the CARES Act and go ahead and close that out in a timely manner. We do have our first 2 checks, reimbursements that are coming back from the county. I got word about 4:30 this afternoon that those were mailed to us on Friday, so we should be seeing those this week. But we want to make sure that we have those funds to cover the remainder of the CARES Act. And so at this time, if it pleases council, we would need a motion to.
I'll make a motion that we transfer the 200,000.
Excellent. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. And you want to start to revisit the Rails to Trails RTP grant, Ms. Rakowski.
Yes, Madam Mayor. And Mr. Bowles, are you on?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Fantastic, thank you. In your packets tonight, you have the original cost that was worked on in 2017, 2018 from Michael Baker as the overall cost of the trailhead. You can see that that cost comes to $297,757. We have gone out to bid twice now on the Rails to Trails project for the next phase, I apologize, which, if you remember, includes the parking lot, the restroom facility, signage, utility connection, and a drinking fountain. Both of those have exceeded the $92,000 that we have been awarded through both the county and the RTP grant. We are in conversations right now with the state to see if we can adjust how that grant is worded to utilize those funds specifically for the parking lot and to go ahead and move forward with that. However, we're at a point to where I'm asking council to consider 2 motions. One, if we're capable of adjusting the application just for the parking lot to go ahead and move forward with that. Or 2, if we are not, then we would like to return the grant and apply it the next cycle. Your next sheet in your packet shows that if we were to move forward with the grant as is, we're looking at spending anywhere from $100,000 to roughly $200,000 of our own funds to accomplish what was written in the grant based on the cost estimates that we were given in 17-18.
Conversation. Mr. Brown?
Being that Rails to Trails is something that we've been fighting for a long time, but I think right now our focus is on that beach area. I think that if they'll allow us to change it and do the parking lot, is fine, but I also think if that's not going to happen, we need to turn the grant back in and reapply.
Anybody else?
I agree with Mr. Brown. I think because of COVID and all the curveballs we've received in 2020, cautious move would be the best.
I think we should also turn the grant back in and reapply.
So do you have a time frame when you might hear from the state based on the
I suspect that I'll hear back from them early tomorrow or within the next couple of days. They've been pretty responsive so far. However, they're still working very much from home. They're doing remote working, so it's difficult to get in touch with someone during office hours.
Well, I too am okay to make sure that if we can use the money in the way that we can afford to use the money, that we go ahead and use it in that manner. But if they do not allow us to spend the money in the way that we can spend the money, I agree that we should return the grant. So do you need that as a motion?
I do need that in a motion, please.
Would somebody like to make a motion to that effect?
I move that we obtain guidance from the state of Florida as to whether or not we can amend the grant to do just the parking area, and if they say no, then I would recommend that we return the funds.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. And Mr. Bowles is still on the line. We're on item B in old business 2020 2021 updated roadway update.
I apologize. Madam Mayor, we are on schedule, and this is where we're going to attempt the screen share, so give me just 1 second.
Is that the one with the construction?
And so you should be able to see what I'm looking at, what's up on the monitors if you pull up your Zoom meeting in your Surface, or I'm sorry, in your laptop. The roadway improvement project,
There's technology issue.
I'm not touching mine, I'm just gonna go right there.
is everybody, okay? All right.
No,
Mine's messed up.
So the conversation had by council at the last meeting was to go ahead and include our 1920 or 2021 project, combine them, which will have the beam area by Dunkin' Donuts and then also Hebron, as well as Azalea and a portion of Magnolia. You can see those, I'm sorry, a portion of Cardinal. You can see that right, my cursor's not showing up very well, on your screen and in your map. With that being said, we are prepared to go out to bid and advertise as early as this coming Thursday. We do have a schedule set in place. The cost estimate of this project is going to be right about $178,000 combined. You've already approved the additional contract from Michael Baker, which brings it up to about $28,000, and that was approved at the last meeting. With that being said, if council chooses to move forward with this tonight, we will advertise this. We will have a pre-bid meeting on December 11th, held here at 10 a.m., and then we will have bid opening on December 18th, held here at 10 a.m. for an award at our January council meeting.
any questions? Any discussion? This was previously budgeted earlier in the year, in the fiscal year. Seeing no questions, is there a motion?
I move we let this out for bids.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. And the last item under old business, the cemetery project update, ossuarium purchase.
In your packets, your first slide on this is the cost estimate for the wayfinding system that comes in at $16,722. That is almost as accurate as we can get, or exact as we can get. Just a quick update on to those, that is what the signs will look like. The poles and brackets, those cement corner markers will be put on each block of the cemetery, and then we will have our map, our wayfinding system that'll be located behind the veterans pathway. Our next the next pages within your packet are the ossuariums that the council approved a couple of months ago. With a cost estimate, and this is from ordering to putting on the ground, cost at the side with the benches. With that being said, looking at what we're getting, or the most bang for our buck, if you may, staff is recommending the estate ossuarium, which has 60 companion, so you can have 1 or 2 urns in each niche, and then it also allows for roughly 100 to be located within the ossuarium itself, the communal area. With the benches, mobilization, the slab that's required, the total of that's going to be $58,950. So if it pleases the council, I'd like to, that's staff's recommendation to move forward with this. Now, with that being said, I will say that it was originally budgeted at $58,000 for infrastructure at the cemetery. With these two projects combined, we are going to need to move an additional $20,000 into that line item, but we will be done, and that will cover our engineering costs as well.
Okay, discussion, any questions? Mr. Brown?
Not that I like to spend more money than what we thought we were going to, but this is something that has been on the plate for many, many years. And fortunately, this is a lot more detailed than what we ever thought about. And I'm very impressed with what we're looking at doing. And I think we need to go ahead and well, heck, I'll just make a motion. We go ahead and spend the money to go ahead and get it done, get it.
Is there a
finished.
second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. I would like to make sure that every council person has an opportunity to discuss it. Is there any other discussion?
Just need a clarification, Mr. Brown. Did you intend to include or include in your motion on item number 2 the estate? Or would that require a separate motion? I think your motion was to go ahead and spend the money, but you didn't say.
Okay,
for a
I see
while.
I'll amend my motion to make it the estate,
The
Okay.
staff recommendations?
the staff recommendation as of the estate, and the granite bench that goes along with it. That's the one we're looking at.
Mhm.
I'll put that in my motion also.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second your amended motion.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0.
Madam Mayor, that's all that I had for Mr. Bowles, unless there are any other questions from the council, or if he has anything to add.
Okay, Mr. Bowles, do you have anything to add?
No, ma'am. I'm good. Thank you all. It's been a labor of love, but it's good to see it kind of coming to fruition. I'm excited to see it happen.
We are too. Thank you so much. Anybody have a question,
My
Mr.
pleasure.
Bowles? No questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bowles, for joining us.
Thank you all very much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. All right, committee reports, Budget of Finance, nothing to report. Growth Management, Vice Mayor Hart.
No report.
Keystone Heights Airport Authority. Welcome, Ms. Hitt.
Good evening. I'm going to take this off right now.
Sure.
Want to make sure I'm not breaking any rules. I hope you're all well this evening. Mr. Kirkland was unable to attend, so you're stuck with me for the next couple of minutes.
That's okay.
Since our last update, I think we gave at the October 15th meeting, really nothing on just day-to-day activity has been occurring at the airport. We've had minimal military activity in terms of training. We do anticipate there will be an increase in activity with that. Obviously with COVID, that all kind of went to the wayside. So we do have some teams scheduled for December and January. So you might see some military aircraft out there over the next couple of months. MHD Rockland, with COVID, of course, I think that really delayed a lot of getting their contract signed. But I'm being told that they'll start flying their flight training after Thanksgiving. So you may see some red tails flying around sooner than later.
Well, you need to warn them about the new telephone pole or whatever that thing is they put up.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
sure they've got that on the radar. I'll let them know. Thanks,
Thank
Tony. AECOM, which is our airport engineer, they're continuing to work on the environmental assessment for our future development in the northwest quadrant of the property. That assessment continues, and that's scheduled to be completed by July of this coming year. I do want to go ahead and discuss, we did have the Crawling for the Fallen Jeep event this weekend. On the good side, it was a successful event. There were over 675 Jeeps. They're still counting though. Over 2,000 people. There were over 62 vendors that were there as well. And the event coordinators have said that they are so excited to be part of of the Lake region, because they've had nothing but just complete support and just a great response from our local businesses. So thank you, Lynn, for kind of preempting and talking with a lot of the local businesses. I think that helped. They probably appreciated it too, so that they could get their supplies up and be ready for the Jeeps. Friday evening, I headed down towards Clearwater, and I'm on 75, and I'm literally almost into Tampa, and I'm still seeing Jeeps heading north. And I know where they were going. So these participants were coming in from hours and hours away from both north and south, and it's such great exposure for the whole Lake region, but specifically for Keystone Heights. I know that the hotels were packed. I know that the campsites were filled. I know the state park was filled. I know they had 200 campers themselves that camped over at the racetrack. So there's such a huge opportunity and exposure for us, and maybe the more that they come back each year, we can work with our local, with the Keystone Business Association and other organizations to just make it better and better every year. So thank you for your support. So the other part of the event, and I'm sure that you all saw, is on Friday evening. We had a wonderful group of 8 gentlemen from South Florida, huge supporters of law enforcement. They wanted to come in and bring the flag in for opening ceremony on Saturday morning. On Friday evening, they did a couple of practice jumps. And unfortunately, there was a gentleman who tragically passed away Friday evening. Bradford County, Lake County, everyone involved was excellent in their efforts. And it was unfortunate. So one gentleman did pass away. We don't have the details of what exactly happened. I'm sure that will be revealed down the road. But in terms of the airport, the jumper, he was located off of airport property. And we have done all of our reporting and turned that into the FAA. And we're just waiting to hear back if anything else will occur. There was nothing in terms of aircraft involvement at all. This was, I think, just an unfortunate situation for the individual, obviously. So if anybody has any further questions about it, please don't hesitate to call me at the airport and we can discuss that. Anything else, though? Our next meeting, oh, I'm sorry. I do want to just recognize, Lynn, thank you so much. I never can thank you enough for the support that you've given the airport in terms of getting us technically all set for this, this new COVID world that we're in. So thank you. I compare sometimes our board meetings to is it the Progressive commercial, where there's all the boxes and it's just complete utter chaos, but I think we're getting through it. So here's to this for tomorrow night. We can pull this off again. I'm still a dial-up, everybody else is high speed, I'm dial-up, so I'm not doing very well with this, but I couldn't do it without you, Lynn, so thank you so much. Our next meeting is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Tomorrow will represent our both November and our December board meeting. We will not have a December board meeting. And that will be with board members, and supporting staff will be face-to-face. Otherwise, our public access, because our room is so much smaller than this, and to adhere to the 6-foot distancing, we are going to allow public to access through virtual. And that, of course, will be accessible through our Facebook page as well as our website. Okay. And then we'll resume back in January, and that meeting will be on January 12th, which of course will be posted on our Facebook as well, or on our website. Other than that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions?
Amen.
It was unfortunate. I did share something on our Facebook page about the passing of the jumper, and I'm sad that it happened. But
yeah,
I'm glad that nobody at the airport was involved.
Yes, yeah. Our staff was excellent. They stayed over and they helped in the search as well. And so it was, I guess if it was going to happen, it couldn't have happened at a better event where you've got that many. Most of the people involved were through law enforcement and through first responders. So it was very well taken care of. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Under planning and zoning, we have food truck. So, Mr. Vice Mayor
Would you like me to
Hart?
lead the discussion on this?
Yes.
Are we sitting as the Planning and Zoning Board now, or are we still sitting as council?
This is the Planning and Zoning Board reviewing the ordinance, and then we'll address it. The next item is to schedule a special hearing for this item as well as one additional one.
All right, so we can't give it its first reading tonight,
That's correct.
is that correct? Okay. A little bit of history on this. Keith Hatch, who many of you know, virtually came to our council meeting and asked permission, in essence, to have a food truck for the grand opening of the real estate office across the street and down. We had a lengthy discussion, and I think the sense of the council was, since this was not a commercial venture, the ordinance didn't strictly apply to his situation as long as money didn't change hands, because vendor implies that there's some consideration. But we left it that I would, in conjunction with the city attorney, try to work out some amendatory language to our ordinance to make it a little more fair and a little more usable, because the first ordinance that we passed required that we have an acre of land and some other restrictions. So what we have done is we have prepared a proposed amendment, and if you look down, I guess it'd be on the second page, item number 3, this is where we specifically say that if there's no money changing hands, the ordinance doesn't apply. They can go ahead and do it. And secondly, B, it changes the square footage to basically say, look, this is a commercial venture like any other commercial venture, and as long as the vendors comply with the setback and side yard requirements and parking requirements, and as long as they obtain a conditional use permit from us to do this, that the ordinance could apply to a commercial venture on a smaller piece of property. And I think, Mr. City Attorney, I think those are the only changes that have any substance. Everything else is the same. You still have to get a permit from us. Still have to get a permit from us to conditional use zoning permit. And goes through some hoops, but at least this makes it a lot more business and user friendly. So I would encourage that when we can act on this, that this amendment to the ordinance be passed.
Any questions for Mr. Vice Mayor Hart?
One question I have is, this isn't going to be passed tonight, but this business wants to do this, my understanding, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So, but what they're wanting to do now, my understanding, just refreshing a little bit, is that, I hate that thing, is that they're allowed to do that as long as the money is not exchanging. It's kind of like what he said, a barbecue grill coming up, and he's feeding people.
Yeah, I think we decided at our last meeting, just as a matter of policy, that we would not apply the ordinance to this particular fact situation because there wasn't any money changing hands, and I think Mr. Hatch is very much aware of that. So if this is a private party and he supplies the food and nobody gets a tip or gets paid for supplying it, then it's outside the ordinance. I think that was our policy determination.
I do want to ask a question, Vice Mayor Hart. Based on the change in language, is there any impact to public safety? Do you foresee any impact to public safety?
I think we'd have to look at that on a case-by-case basis. They just can't automatically do this because it's not a permitted use in any zoning class. They would have to come to council and ask for permission, and then we could impose certain conditions, and we'd have a chance to look at that issue, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my concern. Any others? Any others?
One more is, the way that property is set up, it's a whole corner that's open. And I noticed the picnic tables are already out there. So, but there's really not any other business downtown that would meet the requirements to have a food truck on their property. Other than that one, probably.
Well, this isn't special interest legislation. It would apply to any property that met the side yard and setback requirement, which really isn't very, very tough. It's just a matter of a very few feet. So this could, I would assume, apply to other properties as well. But we're not doing this just for Mr. Hatch. We're just trying to encourage the use of food trucks downtown, because as water comes in the lake and as the tourist business picks up, I think this would be a good thing from a policy standpoint to have. But we're not just doing this to favor one person.
I do want to make a comment too, just so everybody hears at one time, that once you relax something and you find out later down the road that it's a nightmare for public safety or whatever else could come up, then it's really hard to take it back and to put that rule back in place and make people adhere to it and have it have any teeth. So I just, put that out there, just cautionary. If you relax it and you want to relax it, that's fine. But once you relax it, you really can't go back.
Yeah, they still would have to get two permits, one for the zoning use and the second one for the conditional use to determine whether, and we can determine whether or not somebody is stepping out of bounds. We have control of the situation. We're just making it a little more friendly.
So there'll still be checks and balances in there?
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the pleasure of the council?
I think that we should, I like the ordinance as rewritten, I like that. And it kind of levels the playing field for everybody. Like you said, it wasn't specific to that gentleman, but it kind of levels the playing field for everybody, and I like that.
I will support it this evening, but it's a cautionary kind of support, only until we see how it really works out, and we'll see how it's going to work out.
Yeah, and ordinances can be re-amended, can be amended later if it turns out that this is not good policy.
Question. So, well, for an educational part of it, if we watch how that Saturday goes, we got plenty of time, because this won't come back to us till January.
There's another item on the agenda that I'll speak to in just a moment regarding a special council meeting in December, or a planned council meeting in December. So, Madam Mayor, if it pleases council, I'll go ahead and jump into that agenda item.
Go ahead.
All right. The City of Keystone Heights has received an application for a use by exception, and it happened it happened last week, and so we were unable to advertise it for this specific meeting. The business owner is downtown, and he would like to open by the end of the year. If it pleases council, then I would like to schedule a special, or not a special meeting, but our December meeting for the use by exception hearing downtown, and if council chooses to go ahead and move forward with that, then I would also place this agenda item as well as one more that we'll talk about later on in the agenda.
So virtually, we're just tabling it until December 7th.
Well, it was brought to the Planning and Zoning Board this evening for review of a language to see if there was any additional changes prior to first hearing.
In essence, we as Planning and Zoning Board are recommending to the council that this ordinance, or with some tweaking, be passed.
That's correct.
And that will be after the event is held after Thanksgiving, so that would give us time to look at what happened at that event.
Exactly.
Is everyone okay with that?
Yes, I'm good. Yes.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll move that the Planning and Zoning Board recommend passage of this ordinance with some minor tweaking after we have a chance to see what actually happens on the ground at the Thanksgiving event.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. And so, do you need a motion on the hearing schedule?
I don't need a motion on the next meeting. I just need a consensus of time on December 7th, if it pleases council.
You have to bring up the phone.
What day is that? Is that a Monday?
Yes, it is. And so we can have a meeting at 6 o'clock as we typically have them, or it can be earlier during the day. Mr. Commando, what your schedule allows.
I can do it after 2:30.
I'm sorry?
I can do it after 2:30.
Is 4 o'clock all right with council?
Yeah, I'm good with 4. I'm flexible, like at 4, 5, 6, whatever.
Fantastic. So we have a council meeting that'll be scheduled December 7th at 4 p.m. and there'll be 3 items on that agenda.
Is that the first or the second Monday of the month?
Ooh, I don't know.
First.
First, okay.
Okay. We're moving into new business. Oh, I'm sorry, Heritage Commission. Vice Mayor Hart?
No report other than to state that they're going to start meeting again face to face. In fact, I think they have a date worked out with you, have they not, Lynn? Or they're working on it?
It is, the next Heritage Commission meeting will be December 14th.
Okay, and that'll be face to face.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Under new business, pickleball at Sunrise Park. Ms. Rakowski.
Yes, Madam Mayor, that would be the third item on the agenda for December 7th. Two of our vendors were hit by the tropical storm, and so they are recouping and being able to provide us with their quotes. However, it's something that we will need to move forward quickly on if we want to get a feasible cost. I'm told that cost of trucking and moving freight is going to go up come the first of the year.
Okay. So you're moving that to the special hearing on the 7th?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Commercial waste disposal agreement. Ms. Rakowski.
In 2017, the city entered into agreement with ADS, Advanced Disposal, to continue their commercial services inside the city limits. That contract has expired as of October 1st. This was brought to my attention a couple of weeks ago. I'm asking for council to consider a 1-year extension on their contract so that we can go ahead and move forward, do the research and see if we need to go out to bid for this service.
Any discussion? Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to extend 1 year the contract.
Is there a second? Excellent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. We're now on to the audit letter of engagement. Ms. Rakowski?
Madam Mayor, in your packets tonight is the letter of engagement from our auditor, Reddish and White. If it pleases the council, we have, inside that letter are the fees that we will have for this year. We just need a motion to go ahead and move forward with that so we can pursue our audit for this coming year.
Is there?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Holiday schedule, Ms. Rakowski.
Just for information purposes for the council, we will be having a half day. The office will be closing on noon on November 25th, allowing for staff to go home and start preparations for Thanksgiving. This happens every year.
Did you say November 25th or 24th?
24th, I apologize,
Okay,
the day
okay.
before Thanksgiving. We've discussed the meeting on December 7th. Our staff council luncheon will be held on December 23rd at noon. That'll be hopefully in our brand new pavilion.
Yay!
And then the last item that I have under the holiday schedule is if it pleases the council to go ahead and move the January meeting to January 11th, which would be the second Monday, giving time to recover from the holidays as we are closed that Friday prior.
I don't see your problem.
The only problem I have is that is the second, I mean, the second Monday usually is the American Legion meeting, the Sons, but maybe we can move that. We can move that to another Monday or maybe have it earlier in the day. Okay.
Or move it to the Thursday of that week, or the prior week.
I have no conflict with Thursday, if everybody wants to do that. If not, we'll work it out. The commander and I will work it out.
I have a conflict with Thursday.
The 11th would make it easier for staff to go ahead and get the packets out, but we can go ahead and we can do that on Thursday if it pleases council.
Okay.
I'm all right with either one.
Okay, well, we'll do it Monday. We can work something out.
Excellent. 11th it is?
11th at 6 p.m.
Okay. Council comments. Mr. Brown, do you have any comments today?
I'd just like to say that the veterans event at the cemetery was very well attended, even with everything going on. I was very, very pleased to see. It was a great program. And I have a sad comment. I found out this evening before I came that our longtime cemetery, Benton Futch, his wife passed away yesterday.
Oh.
So if the city could possibly
Send flowers?
send him a card
Yeah.
or something.
She had not been well for a long time.
Mrs.
Mrs. Fudge.
Mr. Kowski, would you make sure staff recognizes Mrs. Fudge's passing?
We already have,
Oh.
We are-
yes.
Okay,
Because we learned about that earlier today, yes, we've already taken the appropriate action.
okay, excellent. Mr. Peoples?
I have a couple of issues. It was suggested to me by Ms. Rakowski, and I think it's a great idea. The Clay County Commission, they have every meeting, they have a veteran come and do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I would like to start doing that, maybe January, February. If you know a veteran who would like to come and do that, come and do the Pledge of Allegiance at City Hall, maybe we can coordinate that through Ms. Rakowski. She could schedule that with whoever. So anybody on the dais who has a veteran who wants to do that, that would be a suggestion. We could do that. Same thing as the commission does. And on the other item was, since we talked about seat 3, my seat, I've talked about it, yay, nay. I've talked to the Legion people, and they want me to run again, so I'm going to run again for that seat. So just making that announcement.
Excellent. Vice Mayor Hart?
I'm not prepared to make any announcement, but thank you for the heads up.
No breaking news here.
No,
okay?
no headlines. I want to thank Lynn personally for keeping us in the loop as far as the accident out at the air park. That was a nice touch. And also Lynn and our IT experts for making this all happen tonight.
Yes. Ms. Kelly?
I enjoyed the memorial service at the cemetery too, and the Legion served lunch for them, for the people that got through and came over.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
I do have thank you everybody for sharing. I appreciate it, hearing what people are doing. I do have a couple of people I need to recognize from the past month because the more I know about Keystone, the greater sense of community I feel around town. There's some people doing some fantastic work. The Kiwanis Club has taken on Williams Lodge at Montgomery Camp, and several of us have been meeting weekly down at the lodge and helping to get it into shape so that a group from Jacksonville can come out and do the interior wall painting, a ramp, and the floors. And this group is called The Mission Continues. And so they're sending out 30 individuals who are going to be staying at the camp and painting and doing the flooring. And I'm really excited to see them come down and experience that camp. It's a beautiful camp.
And those folks are all veterans.
And those folks are all, yes, those folks are all veterans. I met with Vivian Katz-James, and afterwards, together with Ms. Rakowski, we're looking at doing some projects with the Water Management District, and you guys will find out about that at the right time. We celebrated National School Lunch with Keystone Cafeteria employees. Ms. Tina Bullock, school board member, got me involved in that. And we took them some Academy Awards because it was celebrating movie week, so they got an award. We worked a couple of concession stands through Kiwanis and through the Rotary Club. I met with Commissioner-elect Betsy Condon, or now Commissioner Condon, and Sheriff Cook at Lake Erie Ministries because Sheriff Cook was donating money from her campaign account, so it was nice to get together with the sheriff and with Miss Betsy. I got to judge powwow, which was different this year but it was a lot more fun because there were some races and some competition going on. That was a lot of fun. And we worked with Friends of Keystone Heights on a potential fundraiser. It's a new nonprofit. Worked with the Melrose Fire Department and the Lake Erie Ministries on a food distribution in Melrose. Enjoyed supporting Barbara Franklin and her Fire Fest a couple weekends ago. And went to the junior high awards ceremony with Miss Bullock. That's always fun. The parents were able to show up this year, which was really cool. And then worked on the Kiwanis Golf Tournament. It was a pretty good show out, had 9 teams come in. And then we hosted Veterans Day, which I thought was an excellent event. And I was really appreciative of the council members who could make it out. It was really good. And so we move now to City Manager.
I do have just a few more words. This week and next week, Mr. Hall is on vacation. I am going to be taking a few days off of the following week. The week after Thanksgiving, I will be available by phone, and I'll be in the office, in and out of the office as we close up our CARES Act. With that being said, the county manager has invited all of the city managers to an admin professional summit that'll take place on December 17th. I was asked to serve on the bylaws committee for the technical coordinating committee, which is now the technical advisory committee for the TPO. We have finished that, and through that agency, the airport authority has been allotted a seat, and so I'll be working with Ms. Hitt on what that looks like and how to appoint whomever is going to be on that board. Also, with the technical advisory committee, their next meeting is going to be December 2nd. I have been asked to consider the position of vice chair for that committee, which will lead into chair next year. We're going to move forward with the audit starting tomorrow now that we have the letter of engagement signed. And that is all that I have, Madam Mayor.
That's awesome. Mr. Commando, any words tonight?
Just wishing everyone a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Excellent, and then myself to all of you. Anything else to come before us this evening? Seeing none, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:07.